always on your side. This is First Coast News at 6.
And we are following several breaking stories right now. First, this one is just so sad. A baby girl just 5 months old has died. She was left in a hot van at a daycare today in Jacksonville. Good evening. I'm Jeannie Blaylock.
And I'm Anthony Austin. This all happened at the Ewing's Love and Hope Preschool and Academy on Jacksonville's west side. And we've just learned in the past 15 minutes that the Department of Children and Families is in the process of shutting down this facility. This was the scene on Lenox Avenue in Arlington on the west side, as police responded to the daycare just after 1 this afternoon. We're told the baby was left in the van for at least 5 hours.
We have live team coverage for you tonight from every angle of the story. Let's begin with Jeff Allen, who is live at the scene with the latest. And as we just learned, new information from DCF.
That we have, Jeannie and Anthony. First of all, emergency responders got here to the Ewing Love and Hope Preschool and Academy about 5 past 1 or so this afternoon. When they got here, they were presented a months-old infant little girl who was not breathing. She had been left in the daycare van that is still parked in front of the building right there for an estimated 5 hours, and you know just how hot the weather was today. Now, resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful. The infant girl died. I talked with a nearby business owner who says he watched officials carry the lifeless child out of the building. I also talked with a woman who says she had her 3 kids at this daycare a few years ago, but pulled them away just after a few weeks. She acknowledges that her kids were older, but says they were left in the van as well, and that the owner's response was a deal breaker.
They basically brushed it off. It's not leaving them. They're old enough to get off. So it's a fend for yourself daycare. My kids basically had to fend for themselves. They had to get their own water. They had to do everything themselves. It's not the best place.
Now, according to its website, Ewing's Love and Hope has been in business since 2010. DCF records say that it has only been licensed since 2016. And we're also now just learning, as Anthony was talking about, that DCF this afternoon is requesting an immediate shutdown of the center because it had never notified that it was transporting children, and therefore transportation operations were not being monitored. The center is licensed for as many as 76 children. Police told us that there were 14 kids present at the time of today's tragedy. I asked police whether they knew of any previous incidents at the center. They said no, but we are looking into the background of the owners just the same. Heather Crawford, I know you were looking into this back at the station. What can you tell us?
Jeff, this is just such a heartbreaking story. And so tonight we are digging deeper into the history of Ewing's Love and Hope Preschool and Academy where this happened. Now, we have discovered that the owner and the program coordinator of that daycare was actually arrested back in 2017. Gloria Ewing was accused of abusing 2 children. And according to a JSO police report, the father of 2 kids claimed that Ewing hit his children with an extension cord. In the report, the father says that she hit the children because they did not clean the kitchen well enough. Investigators noticed red welts and bruises on them. Ewing admitted to police that she told the children to clean the kitchen while she was away. Now, she said that she did not think the kids did a good job and got into an altercation with them. According to court records that we've been looking at, the charges against Ewing were later dropped. She did not serve any prison time after she entered into a pretrial intervention program, but we are continuing to dig into this deeper. Live tonight in the newsroom, Heather Crawford, First Coast News, on your side.
All right, Heather, let's talk about the weather today. We live in Florida, Georgia. We know how hot it can be. You can get in your car and you can feel like you can barely breathe. But you've been looking at some numbers, and that kind of makes us understand this a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the numbers. I'm going to share some vocabulary too, and these words are very specific to meteorologists and health individuals. So let's take a look, first of all, at what it's like outside. Whether you're talking about the beach or downtown, temperatures in the 80s. So the breeze helps, but note the sun is shining, and that's the big key, folks. If anyone is left in a vehicle and the sun can shine through, even if it's only 70 degrees, we can have tragic results. So let's take a look. Today was a seasonably hot day, no doubt about it. But what about those temperatures? Well, this is what can happen. In just 15 minutes, temperatures can rise dramatically. So in 15 minutes, it can make it up, or 5 minutes, it can make it up to 110 degrees. What does that mean? As far as the meteorological health vocabulary word that's already in the dangerous level, that's not me coming up with the word, health individuals, first responders know what that means. In fact, a heat advisory, we have those occasionally, a heat advisory is issued when the heat index is going to reach 105. So already in just 5 minutes, if the sun is shining in the vehicle, we're talking about a dangerous situation. Now check this out. Within 15 minutes, the vehicle can make it to 120. Once you get it to 120, that's considered extreme danger by health officials, and that means death is imminent. Does not take long, folks, and if anything, temperatures are going to heat up as we head toward a sunny and even hotter Memorial weekend. We'll talk about that in just a few moments.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. Stay with First Coast News for the latest on this daycare death investigation, both on air and online at firstcoastnews.com. Anthony?
More breaking news we're following at 6. Florida Forest Service is working to fight 2 brush fires over on the north side of town. Both of those fires are off US 17 and Yellow Bluff Road. One is 100% contained by Jacksonville Fire Rescue. The other, we're told, is 40% contained and has spread to a marsh. No injuries have been reported. And we have an update to breaking news we brought you at 5. Phillips Highway just reopened after a building fire shut down the northbound lanes. Phillips Highway was closed for more than an hour. JFRD also tweeted the fire is under control tonight.
And more breaking news tonight and fallout for Clay County Sheriff Daryl Daniels. We've learned the sheriff has resigned now as trustee at Orange Park Medical Center. This comes after news broke of the sheriff's affair with a subordinate during his time in charge of the Duval County Jail. The sheriff later had his deputies arrest the woman for allegedly stalking him. The FDLE is reviewing to see if that might have been an abuse of power. Earlier this week, the sheriff resigned from the St. John's Classical Academy Board of Directors. That is also in Clay County. And staying in Clay County tonight, the FDLE is investigating a deadly shooting involving 3 deputies.
The sheriff's office says they received a domestic dispute call early this morning to a home on Stagecoach Drive. That's where deputies shot a man after he pulled out a gun outside of his home. On your side, Troy Class joins us live tonight. And Troy, you've just learned the name of the deputies involved, the names.
That's correct, Anthony. They were released about 2 hours ago. So the names include Brandon Centers, Jacob Adams, and Michael Tapawan. Now, combined, they have about 7 years of law enforcement experience, a little bit more in between all 3 of them. Now, deputies say that they approached the man outside of this home here on Stagecoach Drive, and that's when the incident turned deadly.
Nice, easygoing people.
That's how Nicole Brown viewed her neighbors on Stagecoach Drive. She says in their few interactions, they were friendly towards her. The Clay County Sheriff's Office says a woman called 911 and left the house after the man started acting violent, breaking things in a fit of rage. The deputies approached the house after they made contact with the woman. The Sheriff's Office says the man pulled out a firearm and 3 deputies fired shots. The man was killed. The deputies were physically unharmed, and so was a child who was inside the home. This is the second deadly officer-involved shooting in the county this year, and it's a situation that leaves Brown feeling sorry for everyone involved.
I feel so bad for the family of the man that the police responded according to protocol. And I also feel very bad for the officers, because no officer goes out wanting to be given no choice but to take someone's life.
There was a child that we've learned that was inside the home at the time that this dispute was unfolding, but they were not hurt. Again, that shooting occurring outside of the home. And like we mentioned, the FDLE is going to be the lead investigation into this case. Live in Orange Park, Troy Kless, First Coast News, on your side.
Troy, thank you, and be sure to stay with us for the very latest on this still developing story. We will always have the newest information. It'll be posted on our website, firstcoastnews.com.
Right now, a 16-year-old is in critical condition after being hit by a pickup truck this morning. It happened on State Road A1A in Ponte Vedra Beach. According to Florida Highway Patrol, Xander Lauren was jogging in the bicycle lane when a Toyota Tundra, for unknown reasons, drifted toward the bicycle lane and hit Lauren. He was taken to UF Health with critical injuries. The driver was not hurt and is cooperating with authorities.
Well, the search continues tonight for a woman who deputies say stole a vehicle, led police on a chase, and then rammed into a St. Johns County patrol car. This pursuit began in Julington Creek last night. We had a lot of information, live information on First Coast News at 11 last night. And now we're told deputies tried pulling over the stolen vehicle, but the driver refused to stop. The chase ended on County Road 210 and I-95 when the driver rammed into a patrol car. To the left, you're going to see here a cell phone video of that chase. The driver and 3 other passengers fled. The car, when they crashed, the 3 passengers were caught, but the driver is still at large tonight. Deputies are urging residents in the area of County Road 210 and I-95 to lock your cars because the driver will likely be looking for transportation out of the area.
An update tonight on a story First Coast News first brought you last night. Fernandina Beach police have arrested Gregory Green after he allegedly ran over a woman sunbathing in Nassau County yesterday.
It happened 4 weeks after another woman was run over just 3 miles away at Peters Point Park. Eric Alvarez is on your side tonight in Nassau County, where neighbors are on alert and a local attorney is on a mission.
It's getting hotter. Summer break is right around the corner and there's a big holiday weekend coming up. All of that means more people at the beach and more cars on the sand here in Nassau County.
They are a deadly concoction. It's a deadly mix.
John M. Phillips is an attorney representing Amanda Gonzalez, who was run over by a vehicle at Peters Point Park back in April.
She's not able to walk. She's in a complete leg stabilizer. Emotionally, she's still having nightmares about the incident. Getting run over by a car is a very significant thing.
4 weeks later, something similar happened to a woman from Akron, Ohio, just 3 miles to the north.
2 people in a month isn't a coincidence.
Phillips says he urged the city and county governments to suspend beach driving after his client ended up in the hospital, and says if they'd listened, the latest incident could have been prevented. Dale Martin, the Fernandina Beach city manager, says even though Gonzalez was run over outside city limits, city police have been reviewing ever since it happened to determine what, if any, actions would be appropriate. For now, vehicles are still driving onto the sand, where some are calling for an end to it.
I'm concerned for human life more than the convenience of somebody with a big truck.
But others say while people who drive their vehicles dangerously need to be held accountable, not all drivers should pay the price.
I think that a few make a mistake, not all make the mistake.
One thing just about everyone supports is urging drivers to be careful.
Be safe, slow down, watch what you're doing.
In Nassau County, Eric Alvarez, First Coast News, on your side.
Eric, thanks so much. So let's talk a little bit more about beach parking. Attorney Jane West tells First Coast News communities could lose millions in federal funds by eliminating beach parking, as funds for beach renourishment projects are directly tied to beach access and also parking spaces. The city manager in Fernandina Beach says while public access to the beaches is a function of the city's federal beach renourishment program, beach parking is not related to that program. And also the Nassau County manager, we've contacted him, but we've heard no response for our requests for comment.
It's that time of the year for hiring tree contractors. Before you decide to hire someone, you need to watch this story.